Hello friends, welcome back to the modding series. Um, yeah, that's just a great intro. We're off to a good start. It's part two. Today we're going to be taking the S13 that we put new rims on yesterday, and we're going to be putting a new kit on it. So what that's going to entail, we're going to have to fit the kit to the body of the car, which it's probably not going to match up great right away, and we're going to have to create a new AO map and bake that in showroom so it all looks good like it did before. So yeah, without further ado, we're just gonna get right into it. It's the same thing as yesterday to start out, and I mean that's like the intro, I guess. So let's start. So just like yesterday, we are going to in showroom content cars. We're going to find the S13, which I don't have a filter for. It's probably here. Yeah, here it is. Rim swap WDTS 13. This is the one we were working on yesterday, and then we exported it to the regular WDTS S13, but we're still going to work on this model in case we make any mistakes to start. So to start, just go back in here, unpack it again, make sure all of your files are up to date, and that's all we got to do here for now. So back into 3DS with the power of editing, it's going to load up in like a blink. That's just the way it's going to go. Also, yesterday I feel like my mic quality was ass, and like somebody started cutting the lawn halfway through the video, so could hear that. And then I didn't have game sound hooked up, which I hooked it up today if I do any driving, so there will actually be game sound. But yeah, that's not really the point of the video anyway, but it's nice. Alright, so 3DS is loaded. We're going to import our car just like we did yesterday. Well, I mean, I don't know if this is going to get posted like the day after. I think I'm going to wait for 2 days, but I'm doing it the next day. So here, 3PS13 WDTS, this is the one we just unpacked. And we have our model here, imported in meters. And there we go. So what kit would we put on this? Well, and where would we get a kit to put on this? So I could, just go back to showroom and search for S13 and find one of these that's not encrypted. Like, well, these are my friend's cars, so we'll say we wanted to use. There's one with a DMAX kit. It's this one. So we could use this one. This is a nice looking kit. It's already plane mapped, which is what we're going to be doing for simplicity. And so if you wanted to use something like this, you could just go into your cars folder, find an S13 with a kit you like, and unpack it, and there you go. You could put that on your car. But that's not what I want to do because I don't think in here they credit who modeled the kit. So if I were to share it, I wouldn't have, I don't know who made the kit, so I wouldn't be able to credit the person that made it. So we're not going to do that for today, but I did do a convert on an R32 by this modeler named RF Phantom, and I'll link his VK down in the description. But he also has, I don't know, probably 3 kits for the 180, a couple kits for the S15, and one BN kit for the S13. So that's what we're going to be using today, if I can find where I downloaded it to. Alright, I got my kit now. So this is probably a lower poly version, and this is a higher poly version. We're going to start with the higher poly version just to see what the actual count is. I think we'll be able to use this. And also, he has his kits in the inches scale, like I was saying. So if you were to put this on meters, it wouldn't match up right. I don't think. So we're going to import it in inches. This didn't actually change, so I don't really know what the deal is with that. We'll see. Oh, fits perfectly. Look at that. Alright, so we're just going to drag this up to start, just like we did. And so we have corner lights here, we have our kit, and if we look in, not that, if we go to edged faces up here, it's going to show us our polygons, which this is actually quite high poly. So I mean, if we really wanted to optimize it for a server, I would say that we probably should, and it's a little bit messed up down here. We'll see what it looks like. It might have a little bit of a black line here on our AO, but it's fine. So how do we get this onto here? Well, the first step, just going to take the align tool for the front. We're not going to do that yet though, because we want these corner lights, I think, because this car, it does have them, but they're kind of crappy looking. Do we have housings? No, we don't have housings. Okay, I think we want to just, these probably don't have housings either though. Okay, we'll worry about that later. So we'll just take these corner lights for now. and then just group it, align it to the existing front bumper center to center. XYZ, center to center, and there we go. It's kind of lined up, but it doesn't fit very good yet. So what's just the old one? I think it's this. So we didn't want to delete that bumper first because then we wouldn't have been able to align it just to get a rough idea of where it needs to be. And this looks like a lip from the other one maybe, so we'll hide that. This, I don't know, the back of the lip. And here is our like black null texture that is going to make it look like there's an underbody to the car, I guess, since we're not going to do a full chassis and all that. So yeah, as you can see, it's not fitting great. So we got to make quite a few adjustments to make it fit the way we want it to fit. But first, let's just get all of these other parts lined up. At least that good. So just align it center to center, XYZ. For the skirts, we can hide these skirts, and we can align this to the rear. Center to center, XYZ. Might actually have to move the exhaust a little bit or replace the exhaust. We could do that in this video too. So there we go. We have our BN Type 2 S13. And I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of the new parts we just got, and I am going to ungroup, because we had the group here in the front already, so we couldn't group it again. And now I'm going to group it, and I'm just going to hide that for now so we can get rid of all the parts that we don't want, which is this plate, that corner light, the skirts, which are they not? Yeah, I must already hid those, so hide that. Front bumper, this little lip thing, and skirts, rear bumper, and this diffuser. The plate we'll keep for now because we might just end up putting this plate back on. This thing has a little bit of an underbody to it, that's kind of cool. If we look in clay mode, you'll be able to see it a little better. Yeah, so it's got like a little rear bash bar on there, that's neat, I never noticed. Alright, back to default look, unhide everything, so we have our kit back. And there's a couple ways that we can go about fitting this to the body. So first we're going to ungroup. Now this, we want like this move gizmo to be centered to the bumper so it's easier to work with for now. So we're just going to go effect pivot only. So now we can move like the gizmo around, and center to object so it's right in a nice place that we can move it around. And it looks like to start we got to move it down a little bit and we got to move it back a little bit. Simple as that. Except it's not really as simple as that. Looks like it needs to be scaled a little bit out. And this is just getting a rough idea right now. So also this, when I first click the scale tool, it only wants to scale it like uniformly every direction the same amount. Oh, I didn't have the lights grouped. Whoops. Alright, there we go. Now the lights are grouped. We gotta go move it back and down again a little bit. There, do we have it? Oh, do this again from yesterday. Viewport clipping, move this all the way down so we can see what we're working with better. Move this just down. It looks like it's clipping through the black part, so I'm going to take this blue line here and I'm going to line it up to that right there. And then it looks like this here fits pretty solid already. If we move it down, oh, okay, yeah, so we want it there. We're going to have to scale everything a little bit. So, alright, so we want this. It's already aligned to the center of the body, so this is going to be the same distance gap as the other side. So we'll just take this, and like I said, there's only one. It wants to scale it uniformly, so if we hit R on the keyboard, it's going to switch between these different scaling modes. And now I can take this X one, go 101 say, and it scales it out. And I think that vertically it has to be a little bit taller too, because like if we hide this black under, is that from the other bumper? Let's see what that looks like quick. So this is from the other bumper, and this is like the underbody. If we go clay mode, do we need this? We don't need that for now. So we're gonna get rid of that for now. And we're going to go back to default. And yeah, it looks like it could get scaled vertically a little bit too, because it's like not quite lining up here. This part could be up where that is. And like I said, we'll fine tune it later, but all right, so go back to this where we can scale it all individually. Z-axis is gonna be height. So I think 102 maybe. Move it up a little bit. And there we go. So that fits pretty good. Let's see like the sides if they're out too far. Yeah, I think 101 was a little bit too much for the X-plane. So we'll go like 100.5. Now it's not lining up here though. 100.8. That's good right there. And honestly, looks like it fits pretty good already. I think so. I'm gonna do this differently. I could just say, you know, scale the Y, because it makes sense that if we do the other ones, we should have to scale these too. So I mean, like that, just fix this little black area that was showing through the skirt. Or the skirt, that's a front bumper. But yeah, so that fits, you know, really good already, honestly. I don't think I really need to do a whole lot more. If we go edged faces, I mean, I don't know why we need to do that. I wanted to go clay, because I want to see like this gap here, which if we show only these two, that looks really good. So yeah, the front bumper is aligned. I didn't have to do really a whole lot to the rest of it to make it fit. So we're gonna have to worry about this, because if we don't have any plane here, you see, oh, I moved that. But yeah, this whole underbody section is like basically what's casting a shadow on the ground in Assetto. And since we deleted the underbody from the front bumper because it was clipping through in some places, now we're gonna have to add another plane back here. But we'll do that towards the end. All right, now our skirts. So I think that my first step to getting this scaled properly would just be to match the scale to the front bumper and see how close it gets us. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to align it to the front bumper, take off all these position ones because we only want to match the scale, and then take this X, Y, Z, and we're going to see how that looks. We'll go back to default, and it looks like it's way too tall, but we didn't move it before we did that, so we can just move it down a little bit. Now it's, yeah, so now it's going to have a gap to the door. So we want, instead of moving the whole skirt, we want to just move these vertices down. And the way we want to do that is we'll select this. I'm just going to delete the left skirt first, so then we can just mirror it later, and then we won't have to change the vertices for both of them. It'll all match up. And so if we go over here, we're under the modifiers tab in the right sidebar. There's 4 different ways we can select. So element is selecting the biggest group of faces it can without seams. So if we click this skirt, it's going to select the whole thing because this whole skirt was mapped together as one element. And there we go. But that's not what we want to do because we don't want to move the whole thing. We just want to move these. So we can go face select, and we can select these faces, and we can move it that way. That works. We can go edge select. That's going to select the edges, but this isn't really for like this type of application. This is more like, say, if I unhide everything but this, and we want to, say, add a bit more to the top here. You could just shift drag the edge out like that, and it adds a new face here. So that's more what edges selections would be used for. In this case, since we want to fit or like alter the top of it, I'm going to go into vertice select, and I can just select this top portion here, and we'll just do the back together. So we'll select that portion there, and now I can move this down. Maybe if we select only this, we can scale this a little bit. So then move it back. And there we go. So it's a little bit lower, but it's not like to the point where we want it to be, and it also doesn't quite fit here yet. So I mean, that's one way, but there's a better way because we only want to go down to this next row of vertices when we do it this way, because if we go below it, it's going to fuck the geometry up. So we'll say, just for example, we're going to go down here. And then if we look here, there's going to be some messed up faces like underneath, or it's not even going to show them because it's all messed up. So yeah, we don't want to do that. What we're going to do instead, we're going to go over here, soft selection, click use soft selection, and now you see every other vertex turns orange because our strength is 20 or whatever. What is it called? Fall off. That's what it's called. So maybe like 0.1 would work. Okay. So now, like, you see the gradient in all of these different verts. These top ones are red, they're going to move the most. These orange ones are going to move slightly less. And it's just kind of gradually going to move them all down together. So you see that, and now unhide all. And already it's fitting better. It doesn't look perfect. Maybe we could just drag this back a little bit to kind of get that shape back. And maybe we'll select, you know, each row. Move this back a little bit. Select these. We're going to turn off soft selection quick. Move this back. Move this forward. So yeah, you can just play around. I think I'm going to time lapse the rest of this. I've kind of showed what I'm doing and what soft selection does. So yeah, I'm just going to line these up, time lapse it, and then we'll move on to the rear bumper. Okay, so now we have a BN front bumper and BN skirts on one side of the car. So we're just going to have to take this. If you got it off a different car, like out of Assetto, this is going to say editable mesh. And let's show you real quick. So if we convert it to editable mesh, like you see how this is already that because this came out of Assetto, and this was a model that came off of VK straight from the modeler. So this was already editable poly. But if we take this as editable mesh, and let's just say we want to mirror it. So we're just going to go to the symmetry modifier, and we're going to go on the X plane, flip. Now, okay, I guess since it's a normal, a good model, it didn't mess up. But normally you'd lose your smoothing doing that, and you wouldn't be able to get it back if you were on an editable mesh. But there is a different way to fuck it up, since I'm really determined to fuck this up now, so I can show you how you're going to fuck it up if you try to do it yourself and you don't know what you're doing. So, okay, editable mesh, theoretically, we want to convert it to editable poly before we do any modifiers to it, like symmetry or normals, which normals is like if we go to views, X view, face orientation, and we update it. So there's green on the inside of this fender and inside of this fender, but the outsides are regular clay. So in Assetto, there's all these faces, right? If we go to edged faces, each of these triangles is only visible from one side. So like this triangle, you can see it from this side, and in this view, I mean, I don't know what one it was, but you can also see them all from this side. However, they're only actually visible in-game from one side. So if we click here to update, the green side is not going to show in game, and the clay side is like, say, yeah, this car's probably fine. I'm just going to maximize, and I'm going to hide the hood. And then I'm also going to hide all this black stuff. And this would be flip normals. So this fender, it's visible from out here. It's not visible from out here. Those are called normals. And if we want it visible from both sides, we need both normals. So we need one of these that's green on the inside, one of these that's green on the outside. So I'm just going to clone it, copy, modifier list. Oh, we want it to be editable mesh though, because the whole point of this is to show why you can't use editable mesh. Hide unselected. And this, we want to flip the normals. Convert it to editable mesh, because that's what we're doing. And take off edged faces. So you see now that we lost our smoothing. All these triangles are kind of, you know, you can see each individual one and it just looks bad. And now if we want to smooth it, if we go to editable poly, select it all, and we select a smoothing group, it's still bumpy. Alright, so we're going to delete that, unhide everything. And this is our fender that we were working on. And now if we do this under editable poly instead of editable mesh, if we flip the normals, normal, there we go. It still messes up the smoothing. However, since we did this on editable poly, we can convert it back to poly, select it all, select a smoothing group, and now it's smooth again. So that's why you want to convert everything to editable poly before you start to add any modifiers to it. Because it didn't look like, even though we tried it on this one with the symmetry one, it messed up, or even this one. But a lot of modifiers will do that. It'll lose your smoothing, and then you won't be able to get it back without re-importing the model. So I'm just going to undo that so we have the right normals on our fenders. And yeah, so that's that. But how are we going to mirror this to the other side? Well, I already showed you how to do it. We were going to use the symmetry modifier, but let's convert it to editable poly just to be safe that our model is okay. And I want to take the pivot point of this gizmo here is where the pivot point is, and the pivot point is where it's going to flip the axis over. So we're going to take the pivot point of this, affect only that, because we don't want to mess with the position of this. We already lined that up perfectly. And we're going to align it to the pivot point of the body of the car. So we're not doing scale, we're doing pivot point to pivot point, X, Y, Z. So now the pivot point of this skirt is the same as the pivot point of the body, which is what we want it to be on the other side of. All right, click OK, uncheck that, and now we're going to do the symmetry modifier. Flip it over the x-axis, not Z. I got confused for a second. And now our skirt on this side should be as perfectly lined up as our skirt on the other side. All right, convert it back to poly, and there we go. So now the rear bumper, I'm going to do just like I did before. Well, I moved it down a little bit, which is good. I think I'm going to position it first this time. So we're going to affect the pivot, center to object, and we are going to move it. Move it back a little bit. Move it down still. No, that's too low. We're going to try to center it like so here can move down and this can move up when we scale it, and it should fit better. All right, so now like we did before, select this. Moved it again. Align it to here, but not the position, not this. We want center to center, and we're going to match scale. All right, so let's see how that fits now. And it's already pretty good, except this could be a little bit forward. It's maybe a little bit wide by a few decimals. I think, oh, that was, yeah, that's in the way. Okay, so scale, not rotate. We're at 100.8, let's try 100.7. 100.8 was better. It's not too wide, it's just, yeah, because this part will mess up. 100.8, I think maybe we want it a little more even. Yeah, see, because then this little gap is kind of realistic. And we don't want to like clip through the body at all. Like if we did make this line perfect up with the rear quarter, like 100.7 was, We have this here cutting through there, and that's just not like a realistic look. I'd rather have a little bit of a lip there than cutting through polys. So yeah, there we go. See how the back looks. I think the back should be good. Yeah, that looks like it all lines up pretty good here. Maybe we could go down just a touch. Move it down, say, we can use this for movement too. I think that was 3.6, so 3.59. Should move it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And I think we could even rotate it a little bit. I don't know. It looks good how it is. Maybe forward just a touch. So yeah, there, that fits pretty good. This front part we need to move forward a bit. I'm gonna take my vertices select, say, these two columns of verts, and I'm gonna go to the other side, and I'm gonna select these two columns of verts again. So whatever we do to one side, it'll do the same thing to the other. Use soft selection, fall off 0.1. I'm gonna try 0.2 because I'd like it to go all the way back to like here. That's not even enough. 0.5. That's too much. 0.4. That's still a little bit too much. 0.3. There we go. So this will be fine. I undid my selection. Get that back quick. Move this forward. Make sure nothing's clipping. Just a little bit. I don't really want it this far forward though, so we might have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to delete a little bit of that because we're not gonna see this anyway. So if we hide on, oh, this is probably just the same deal as the front bumper, but it's for the rear bumper, the whole underside part. Hide unselected. No, not that. Hide unselected. See what this is. Oh, that's not what we want. See what this is. Oh, okay. So this, we can probably keep it, but we're just gonna take, we're just gonna do this face select, edged faces, and now we're gonna take these, and we're just gonna delete these. I didn't get one there. And now unhide everything. That's not what I want. Unhide everything. And there we go. It doesn't have anything clipping through it. It fits pretty good. That looks kind of strange, but I guess that's just the way that they did the faces. I think if we uncheck this, it'll look normal. Yeah, good enough. Yep, so now we have our BN kit on our... This is kind of scaring me. I don't really like how this is looking, just in the model. But if that messes up in the AO, we might have to find a different rear bumper. That's not something to worry about now. Alright, exhaust, we can just drag this over a little. Oh, we missed a part. Let's hide the bumper so we can make sure we move every part of the exhaust, like this, this, and this. Hide selection, make sure we got it all. We got it all. Alright, so we're just going to move this over to here to fit in that hole. And there you have it. So the kit is fitted to the car. The fitment's kind of bad still, I don't know. These rims in this kit, I didn't really think this through. It doesn't really work together that well, especially like with the profile of the tires and all that. But it's just for a video. I think I could, let's try this for fun. If we do this, we just move this out. It was at 7.85, so yeah, if we put it at 7.9. Wheel left front, 7.9. This is kind of an experiment. I don't know if it's going to move in-game as well. And suspension dummy is here somewhere too. SSS. Oh, it's just an object. So yeah, this we can move up 5 as well. 7.5. Right front. 7.5. So now our fitment is 0.05 less sunk, and it looks a lot better. And the rear, we could do the same, I guess. Move this, that's disc. We could move disc too, but I don't really care. 7.4. Take sus right rear. 7.3. Just adding 0.005 to all of these. Wheel left rear, 7.4. and sus left rear 7.3. So now our calipers should all be lined up, which it looks like they are. Our wheels are a little bit better fitment maybe, and yeah, it looks better with the kit. So now we have our kit on our car, we're ready to go, right? Not quite, because it's not mapped. If we take our material editor, and this front bumper is grouped, so I'm gonna have to ungroup that before I do anything. Okay, take this group, ungroup, select this, this, and this, and I guess I didn't need to do that yet because we want to, this material editor, we want to use the eyedropper, and we want to select the body, and then if we go up here, material, select by material, we can select the whole body, and then we can control click the new parts that we added that we want to be body material. And I never deleted this yet, so yeah, we'll do that later. Hide unselected, and here we have everything that's body paint. And if we say go here again, select by material, select, and we go UV coordinates, unwrap UVW to show what the map is going to look like, it's going to look good because it works. It's the WDT13, except we don't have skirts anymore, we don't have bumpers anymore. So what we want to do is we want to add our kit onto this map. Alright, so I just took a bunch of parts out of this video that I was going to do, but I decided not to do. I was going to like map the skirts along with the original WDTS map, but instead I'm just going to show you guys how to remap your entire car, except for the wing and the mirrors because they're a pain normally. Which means we want to delete that modifier. We're going to deselect whatever we want to keep the original map on, which is this, this. Probably the grill. The grill will probably be fine from before. This other mirror. So we're just going to map the body. Oh, there's wing stands that are a separate object too. So make sure you get everything that you don't want to touch, because there's always some small. Is this line separate? No? Okay. So, yeah, there we go. This is all we want to map. So we're going to go to modifiers, selection modifiers, and also there's a really good video. We did this before, polyselect. There's a really good video by a guy named Mamaya Motors, who's done a lot of different modeling tutorials and a lot of different converting tutorials and mapping tutorials. He's the one who showed me how to initially make a plane map. And then just kind of with a little bit more of understanding and stuff, I've started to do some different things. But this is like a really good basic way to map a car if you want somebody to put a skin on it, or if you want to skin it yourself. That way it'll be really easy to add logos and everything to your car in Photoshop. So we're just going to select X-plane first. So all of these and the skirts and this whole line here. And now we have to go to face select because we don't have the seams I was talking about in our front bumper. So face select, control select, and let's go up to there. We need all these too. Here. So remember, everywhere that you don't select is going to create a seam. And we only want seams where we need seams. So let's make sure that we have all of this part and none of the bumper, because we don't want this. Is that a bumper though? It is. Yeah, we do want that. I'm tripping. Alright. So that's this side. This side is good to go, except for the back. Let's do the back. Let's just go up to the point that they went. So we want this. I'm going to try to keep it in columns of faces. And there we go. And change the view a bit. We don't want to do that. We want to get... this is going to be kind of tough. Here. Can I do this? Oh, excellent. Alright. Now we gotta try to deselect these. So like once you get to these little tiny areas, it's kind of a pain Doesn't really have to be perfect, but just the way I am, I like to get it perfect. So yeah, that's a pretty good side X-plane. And there we go. So we have our two sides selected, and now we wanted to map these. So UVW map like we did before, X like we did before, just like the skirts, but we're just redoing it because I'm stupid, and unwrap UVW. Didn't need to do it twice. Open editor. And now like we had for the skirts, we got to say we don't want this selection thing on. We want to select one side, get this move back, and we're going to move this away. Select them both, move them away so they're not overlapping here. And we don't have our skirts over here anymore because I moved them, and I don't know if I'm even going to put that part in. So if I didn't put that part in and you're like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Just ignore it. It's okay. So close that. Now we got to do the Z plane, which is the top, and the Y plane, which is the back. So now that we have our seam here, it's all going to be pretty easy. So let's just convert this back to editable poly. Go back to poly select, modifiers, selection modifiers, poly select here. So we still have our selection, which makes it quite easy because the way we can do it to start is just invert. And now instead of selecting, we can just deselect. And I'm going to do the X and Y first because I'm not sure if I like elements like this, if it's gonna, yeah, see, it's gonna still get the whole bumper, which we don't really want to try to remember all of these exact faces that we used and mapped already. So we're gonna do the bumpers, or the Y plane first. So now let's undo that. I can just alt select here, 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 because these are all gonna be on top. Here, that's gonna be on top. The hood, top, and the top of these fenders. And we'll just do a nice, this thing, because I see a few more. Alright, that looks good. UVW map, Y, real world map size, unwrap UVW. Open it, and now we have our front and our back. Except we don't want them overlapping, so I'm gonna select the back. Move it up, move this, we're going to put this on top because if we remember, our sides are over here and we don't want it overlapping, so we're going to put this up here. Alright, convert this to poly, and now go back to modifiers, selection modifiers, poly select, element, and we're going to get the top. Let's do this. Let's go back, Control Y, invert it. Now we'll just deselect the sides instead of selecting the top, because this way we'll at least have all of the faces that we might have missed. They'll get mapped. So deselect the sides. We can box select most of it probably. This we don't want. This we don't want. This we don't want. We don't want that. I think we do want that because I deselected that for the last thing. So yeah, that looks about right. And now we will do UVW map, Z, real world map size, modifiers, UV coordinates, unwrap UVW, and just like all the last times, you get the idea. Move this over to the right, and we'll move it down a little bit, because if you remember right, bumpers are up here, sides are over here, tops over here, and then these things that we deselected because we wanted to use the original map. This wing, I don't even know if we're going to keep. We might change the wing eventually, but those are still in the box. So now, if we go back here, convert it to poly, just go straight to unwrap. Actually, no, we don't want to do that yet. We want to select everything. Everything. And now we go to unwrap. And we shouldn't have anything overlapping. Perfect. I don't know what this is. What's this? Oh, we missed a part of the... That's okay, that's behind the skirt. Anyway. This part, we're not going to really see it, so I'm just going to move it in the box and scale it really far down and then move it, you know, up into the corner. This is going to be the wing. I'm going to move this up together kind of with the other part of the wing. Maybe this one we can rotate it, you know, 180. And there we go. These are the mirrors. I want to keep those all kind of together. Alt select this because that's in the right place. Move this. Deselect. Move this. Deselect. No. Deselect. No. Deselect this. Ah. Wow. Oh, we need to redo now, but we can't because, wow, I'm really struggling here. I don't do this very often. Alright, there we go. Now deselect this part. Deselect the parts that are in the right place. There we go. Yeah, so now what we have is we have all of our extra parts up here. I think I'm just going to move these out for now. All of this extra stuff, I'm going to move it out for now. So that way, let's see, which side is the good side? Good side? I don't think either side's a good side. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, man. I'm just trying to make a video on mapping, and I don't do mapping this way normally. But it's easy, and you can skin this way, so I'm going to do it and show you. Alright, so this is the left side. And if we were to look at the car from the left side, it wouldn't look like this. It would look like... Well, I guess we'll do this. It wouldn't look like this. It would look like this. So we're going to mirror this one. I'm going to move this. Actually, we should undo quick. Can I mirror it now? Yeah, so there we go. So this is each side. I'm going to take each side and I'm going to move it to line it up with the roof. Hopefully without overlapping the bumpers if we can. It looks like we can. So just get that as close as you can get it. Deselect the good side. And move the other side. I kind of want to, let's undo that quick. If we just use this move tool, it's going to move up and down a little bit. But like if I want to skin it in Photoshop, I probably want to use this so then I can just flip it and move it without having to move it up and down at all on our map. So there we go. Now the sides are each on the same height or Y value, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you call it in here. But yeah, so there's this. Select all of this. I'm gonna just move this down so we can select these easier. And this we want to be in front because this is our front bumper. Move that up, get it as close as we can. That's like the top of that, of this part. That's interesting. But we do want that on our map properly, so we're just going to leave it. This we can flip, not that way. We can flip. And then we can flip, because that still looks backwards. Alright, now I'll line it up. Close enough to here, close enough to center. And there we go! We have a plane map of our car. And now just scale this and make sure it's all in the box. I'm gonna put it off to the side and then scale it a little more. Let's go up. Does that fit in? Yeah. Go up. Maybe one more click. There. Yeah, now we can move it down a little bit. Should be in. That's in. This should be in. That's in. Alright, so everything's in the box except for our extra parts. These we can just move, you know, anywhere that it doesn't overlap. If we gotta scale it, I'll scale it. We shouldn't have to though, because I can just, like, say, put all that stuff up in the top corner. Deselect it. Yeah, I did get the right key actually. Deselect it. And now we can move these again, and we'll just put these down here. Okay, so we just mapped our car with the new kit. Alright, convert it to poly, unhide everything. And I don't think we ever attached this material to the bumpers. So I have everything here that I just mapped together. Just one more time for safe measure, I am going to assign the body material to everything that we mapped together. Close that, and there we go. So now we're about ready to export, but there were still a couple things we wanted to look at. And that is this here, which we just want to take face select, and we want to, let's just isolate it, and we'll just get rid of these. Unhide everything, and there we go. And then the one other thing, go back to object select, was that we don't have underbody really. So how are you going to get an underbody back? Well, I am going to say take this, edge select. Can I loop this? Yeah, we can loop that. So now if we hide on, it's probably going to go up the sides. Yeah, it's going to be the whole border. So let's just do deselect on this part, maybe go down, deselect this part, go down, deselect this part, make sure nothing on the top is selected, and now we can just say let's check our work quick. So yeah, just that bottom edge is selected, and we don't even want the sides though. So like, let's go to bottom view, unselect up to there, maybe even up to here, up to here. We got a little bit more on that side. Maybe it's this. I don't know. That's probably close enough. So we're just going to drag this like this. Scale it out a little bit maybe. And I'm just holding shift and moving it to add the faces. Scale it out. Maybe a little less. There we go. Move it like this. And now if I want that flat, just scale it down on Y. I probably have to move it back a little bit more. And there we go. So now we have a underbody that fits our bumper, and it'll cast a shadow properly. Now we want that to not be actually a part of our bumper though, so we gotta detach it. Which is gonna be a pain because I didn't detach it first. Okay. Yeah. Ideally you would just detach this before you like made the whole shape, so you wouldn't have to do this, but I have to do this because I didn't think this through. Alright, so we have this all selected. We're going to, where's detach? Yeah, somewhere. Can I go here? Maybe? Yeah, here we go, detach. I don't really care what the object name is, it's just a null thing. Alright, so now I'm going to take this, go back up to material editor, and we just want this to be like null black. So I'm just going to take this inner fender, it's called black, that's what it'll look like, and apply it. Make sure that this is like not too low, maybe. It's fine. It'll look alright. Nobody's going to see that. If you were to look from, I should actually check the normals of it. So like the green thing I said earlier, it's not visible from the top and it's visible from the bottom. That's what we want. So like it looks kind of odd having a little plastic like dust cover thing, like it's a modern car under here, but it won't be visible from the top anyway. So we don't got to worry about it. Alright, so that seems like it's all good to go. I'm just make sure my exhaust is lined up good enough. I'm probably going to replace this in a different part of this series, just when I end up doing a bunch of little auxiliary things. But for now, we'll just keep it. I kind of want to make it bigger too. Make it fill the hole in the bumper a little better. And we'll look from the bottom, move it. Yeah, we'll say here. That should look pretty good. It's a little bit too far out, but yeah, we won't do that. That's not how we want it. We want it to be like here. Now probably got to align the sides a little better again. Yeah, like that. That'll be better. Okay, so we have our kit. It's all mapped. it's all ready to be exported. We even moved the wheels a little bit. That's just a little bit of an experiment. I never really played around with moving the dummies without touching the data, so we're going to see if that actually makes our fitment different in game, or if we get checksum. That would be sad, but we know how to move it back if we do. So, all right, export, quick access for me. I mean, if you want that, the way you can get that to be easily accessible, see, I have in my file explorer, I just have cars tracks in my parts folder, and then I have skins, which is like a bunch of pictures that I use for skinning, for glass skins and a few body skins I did, like this. That's beautiful. Everybody loves that. So if you want your cars folder pinned to quick access here, you just got to go to the content folder in your root folder like you were finding your stuff before, and right click on this and pin to quick access, and then it'll put it right up at the top here in your file explorer. And also if you go to quick access in 3ds, you'll have your car folder here. And then this we want to export to our copied folder, make sure it all works, and then we'll put it in the WDTS one. So unpacked model, replace it, yes. Make sure all your export make sure your export format is all good, which mine is. And then, yeah. All right, so now we go into KSEditor, and in Ks we don't have to change anything at all because we didn't add any new materials. If you see, we import our car. This is the wrong one. We want this one. Okay, so yeah, this is normal. It looks fucked up, but it's normal because this white stuff and this here and this here and this black, it's all a texture that's based on the map of the original body, which we completely remade. So we're projecting all of our body parts in a different part on that square picture file than it was doing before. So yeah, it's going to look like that. We're going to fix that. It's not a big deal. It's normal. But if we go down here, we look at our materials. Oh, we forgot the front lights. We'll do that later too. I'm going to do something different in a different part with the front lights as well. So we're just going to make this like a null dark texture for now. It'll just be black in there. Yeah, that's fine. So the other thing, this shadow, we don't have this down here because we applied the texture from the wheel wells to it, so we don't have to retexture it. And the other thing, like I said, these always fuck up, so you gotta make sure anything that's alpha test is still alpha test. Let's just check the interior too. These guys are usually alpha test. Maybe they're not in this one. It's like an ugly. Let's just make it pretty for a second. Not that. Yeah, that. So yeah, these all look fine. Is it going to look better if I do this though? It probably will. It probably wants to be that way. So yeah, maybe we'll do a steering wheel and seat in the next part too. Like the front lights are I'm going to put different tail lights on it, and I'm going to put different corner lights in it. Headlights I might not mess with because 13 headlights are pain. But yeah, that's the plans, and this is all ready to be saved. Even though it looks bad, we're going to fix it, don't worry. Alright, so save it to this, KN5 save, close out, go to CM, open it in showroom. S13, I'm going to go back to this filter because it's easier to find in this one. Alright, showroom. So as you can see, it still looks fucked up, but the way we're going to fix that, so we need to generate a new AO map, it's called, based on the map we just made, our new plane map. And the way we do that, we select a part here. Any part, we can do the door, we can do the wing, any part that has this body material and this diffuse skin DDS. Click the dots here on the right of the diffuse texture, calculate AO, custom size, and 4000 or 4096 if you like those kind of numbers, or 4000x if you like to add letters, not 400x, that's not a good resolution. 4000x if you like letters. Okay, yeah, cool. We get it. It's going to take a minute. Okay, this is what it generates. You can see this is all in the places we put it on our map. This part's a little bit weird, but it's going to look fine. And yeah, so we're going to save this. And for now, we're going to choose a skin folder. And the way you can do is, if you don't want to mess up any of your other skin folders, and you want to make sure you know what you saved all your AOs that you calculate to, I'm going to just copy one of these, rename it to test or default or whatever you want to call it, because we're going to end up copying this and saving it directly in the KN5 eventually. So this is just kind of a for now thing. So yeah, skin.dds, we want to save this as the same name as you saw here, which is the diffuse texture. It's skin.dds. Save it, close this, and it's going to look slightly better. I don't have the right skin selected though. You gotta have the right skin selected. So this one's called test. It's yellow. It's beautiful. It looks okay, but you see there's still like, this was a better way to show the whole thing I was on about what a green map does. You see how this is glossy and this is matte? That's because this is dark green on the green map. This is white on the green map. All right, so now how do we fix that? How do we make our own green map so our whole car is glossy? We go to here. If another way to get to your car's folder easily, I don't know if I just like naturally clicked this previously without explaining it, but yeah, there's just a folder button down here and it takes you right to your car folder. So that's probably the easiest way to find your folder for any car. Now we're going to go to skins. We're going to find our exported or generated AO, which is this, and it looks transparent, which is good. Like I said, that's going to show the detail, which is why our car can be yellow even though the map looks white. I just opened that for the second time. We don't want this one open. We want to just use the other one. Oh, okay, that's all fucked up now. There we go. So this, you can open it in Photoshop. You can open it in GIMP. I'm going to use GIMP. I would think that if you have Photoshop, it wouldn't be too much harder to do what I'm doing. And I think it's all called the same terms. So this should still tell you how to do it. All right, so when we import our DDS every time, why did it minimize? Okay, when we do this every time, we have two checkboxes. One says load minimaps and one says automatically decode yada 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 when detected. Load minimaps is the one that we want to uncheck every time we import something that we're using for Assetto. So uncheck that, click OK, and now you have a big transparent file. Because we want the detail to show through, so alpha right now is transparent. If we want to just make our car white, we just take this, paint our alpha channel white, and there we go. We can see the map just like we generated it. But like I said, we don't want to do that. If I were to export this right now as the diffuse, it would show just like this. Our car would be white. It would all be fine, but you wouldn't be able to change the color with detail, and you wouldn't be able to have any sort of metal flake or any of that. So that's not how we do that. But when we want to make our green map, so we already painted alpha white. Now there's this green channel here. This green channel, we also want to paint white. And now we have our green map that looks just like the one we looked at yesterday, this one. So yeah, now we have to export this. And we can't export it as skin.dds or our car will be green and white. We have to find the file name on here. If we could click on the body, it's got to be the first thing there. You saw me click the back button. And skinmap.dds is what we see is our green map. And this is the one from the old car, and it's not going to work. Okay, close that. So skinmap.dds, that's what we have to export this as. We're going to put it in the same skin folder. Call it skin_map and export. Export. And now our 13 is beautiful. I like this kit a lot better, to be honest. Oh, I forgot about the plate. Okay, so I forgot about the plate. I need more shadow stuff. You see how in the front where we have that underbody piece, this is a little bit messed up still here, but it's okay. I don't really care that much. But yeah, so we need some black pieces here and some black pieces here, and then the plate we just gotta drag back a little bit. All right, so we have to go back into KSEditor one time again anyway, because we want to save those two textures we just made directly to the KN5, because right now it's only saved in this skin folder. And if we go back to any of the other colors, it's still going to look like this. But if we save those two files in the KN5 and Ks, all the skins will look like this, which is actually really a quite nice yellow. I like that a lot. Okay, let's get working on the other bits. I'm gonna unpack it again, so we have the model, except we don't need to use this because we can just go back to 3ds. We still have it. We still had it open. You know, Miss commented, yeah, Content Manager works on its own schedule. So does 3ds when you use Ks with it, 100%. All right, so we're just gonna save the copy, and I mean, if we wanted to, we could just import it again, but then our kit's gonna be in triangles, not quads. So instead, I'm going to show you how to like get a recovery file. If that ever happens to you and you didn't export it already like I did, and you didn't unpack it already like I did, so you're like freaking out because you lost a bunch of work, there's a way that 3ds automatically backs it up in your folders, so you can just open it from there. I'll show you where that is quick. Okay, go up to File, Open, Libraries here, Documents, 3ds Max 2022, and AutoBack. So here is the auto-backed up files that 3ds has saved automatically for you. And this one here, my most recent from 5/19, which is, you know, today, that's most likely going to be our car with all the changes we made to it. Yep, there we go. I'm going to make sure this is all still mapped quick, because I don't really want to do that all again. No, that's right. That's right. I'm confused. Okay, yeah, that's all. Okay, I'm going to check the rest of it, though, make sure everything's moved properly. Because if everything's not moved properly, then I'm just going to import it from CM again, but I want to do this. I wanted to show you how to do this in case you had a bunch of work that you didn't export yet. But if it's going to fuck me up, I'm not going to do it. Okay, we're going to unwrap UVW, make sure our map's still good, which it is. Yep, okay. So now we can just go back to working on what we were going to work on, which is move this plate back so it fits. That's not it. Move Y just back a little bit. We can hide unselected and rotate it around properly so it fits better. All right, so the way I like to do plates is it's clipping through the top. So we're just gonna move it down a little bit, and now it's like pretty good. So if we like move this back, the top is gonna clip through the bumper right there. And we want it to be like basically touching the bumper. So we're just gonna move it out a little bit, and that'll be good. Won't be able to tell. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. That should look good. It doesn't really matter if your face is clipped through if you like zoom out like this. That's all fine. It'll look like this in game. So now we wanted to get the shadow part for the rear. And we're going to hide on selector. We're going to do it just like we did from the front, but I'm going to, well, actually, we're not. We're going to do it from the side. So edge select here. I'm not going to loop it because I feel like it's easier just to click all these than it was to deselect everything. All right, now we have all these selected. So I'm going to shift drag out. And now, since, like I said, last time I had to manually select all those faces, we don't want to do that this time because we want to work smarter. So we're going to control click on polygon. It's going to select all these, and now we're going to detach it right now. So we didn't change the model at all. We just added this face off of it, and now we have an object that we can work from. And how I'm going to work from that is I'm going to go edge select again. I'm going to scale this all the way down on X so it's flat. I think there's a way too to like make it here, make planar on Y maybe. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. Well, let's try the other ones. I don't really remember. I've never used this tool before. So let's undo, redo to get our selection back. And now if we make planar on X, wow, look at that. So now we have a straight line. Instead of scale, it works both ways, but that's a little easier maybe. So scale this up. We don't want to do that. We just want to, here, let's move this over until it like, oh, that's just that face. Man. All right, I'm gonna time lapse this, make this fit. All right, there we go. So it's gonna look like in here it's clipping through the exhaust, but like we said, it's not visible from the top. You shouldn't be able to tell. I mean, you'd be able to tell if you look from the bottom, but we don't care. And now I'm gonna do the skirts. So the skirts, I think I can do an easier way. So I'm just gonna take this. I'm gonna take the edge select. I'm going to drag here so I can get that edge there. And I'm just gonna shift drag out until it overlaps the thing, the skirt. Yeah, right about there. Make sure that's not actually showing through, which is maybe a tiny bit. We can just move it back in a little bit. All right, and do the other side. Drag, alt drag, shift drag, and there we go. That's clipping through a little bit maybe. Let's just move it back, zoom out. All right, good. So now we have our plate lined up. We have our shadows better, and our kit is fitted. And we can export it, save CAN5 again with our new maps. And then we should be good to save it to the WDTS car and use it in a server again. So cars here. It still looks messed up in Ks, which is still normal, but we have what we need to make it not messed up in Ks now. So if we go here, we right click here, we need skin DDS and skin map DDS, which we already made. So if we go to our car folder, the test skin folder that we made, and then we take skin, skin map, cut, because we don't need it here anymore because it's going to be saved in the KM5. So we don't want the extra file size of leaving that in there. And then if we put it in unpacked texture, paste it, replace, close, reload skin, reload map, boom. There we go. And this, I think, is going to be fucked. Yeah, I forgot to apply the dark material to that, but nobody's going to see it. It's not going to mess with our other map because we already calculated AO. So I'm just going to save KN5 car, put it under the KN5. Yup. I should really fix that, but you guys get how to fix that. I'll just fix that off camera. I also forgot to do this again, though. See, this is annoying. I hate that it does this, but if you watch this series, you'll remember alpha test fucks up. Edge CP alpha test. There we go. So now we can save KM5 car, put it under this one, and it's good. Close out of here, go back into showroom, open our rim swept 13 in showroom, and look at that. Okay, let's save it to the WDTS car and go drive it in a server. Go open up K's again, open FBX. Cars, we want to open our WDTS. Wait, no, we want to open this one again. Unpacked model. And what we have to do too, because we made new textures this time, we have to put the textures in the folder for the WDTS car. Alpha test. Alpha test. Go here, go back to cars. We have our car, date modified. It's right here. Unpacked texture. It was called skin and skin map here. I'm just going to copy these because we still want these in here for future if we want to like skin it, which I think we will. I think I have a flame design that a friend made that I might put on this. That'd be kind of cool. So now we want to go file, save KM5 car. We want to go to the WDTS car folder, which is here, WDTS Sylvia S13. I'm going to paste the updated maps in here, replace them. Now don't do this if you like the skins from like skin packs for this, because it won't work for the skins anymore. You can either make your own or you can have somebody make them for this map. I don't know. If you want to do this, I just like solid color cars, honestly, though. I just like street looking things. So that's why I'm doing this for this. But yeah, I said this, like, I'm turning it into Doug DeMuro out here. This is a Sylvia S13. Okay, nobody cares. Save it into this file. Replace it. Saved. Bingo. Alright, so if we open our regular WDTS S13 now, we want yellow because yellow is cool. Look at that. Alright, now we're going to go drive it. And I'm going to unmute my game sound too because I have that now for the clip. Because it's just going to be a beautiful clip chasing people that spin out. Just like yesterday. Content manager, online, clutch kickers. Let's go. Is there anybody on the TMF server? No. Good. Didn't want to go there anyway. S13. Is there anyone else? Man, nobody ever drives a 13. I want to just tandem with my own car, and nobody ever does it. And there we go. The WDTS S13 has a BN kit. I feel like this is not calibrated right, is it? It works. I'm gonna mute my mic while I do this so it doesn't sound like a bunch of wheel noises again like yesterday. So yeah, that's public clutch kickers, and my car worked. Let's see the replay. I don't need to see the replay. It was bad. We saw the car in game. It all works. That's what it looks like. It's pretty. It's yellow. And yeah, so this I think we'll worry about in the next one. We'll try to do these corner lights. I'll show you how to do basic lights. And then maybe a new exhaust. You see how like it looked kind of fucked up if we can't even see from the bottom. So yeah, like that plane here that's cutting through the exhaust, you can't see it at all. And it was a little bit odd through the wheel well, and you can't see it at all. So yeah, everything worked. If we align using data, our fitment is still, you know, it's a little bit better than before maybe. And yeah, plate's good, everything's good. So stay tuned for the next one, I guess. Also, leave a like because this is the end of probably another hour-long video, and you maybe learned how to map a car in 3ds. So yeah, that's all. Bye.